Nigeria and Turkey have pledged to deepen cooperation on security, trade and defense, with a particular focus on supporting Nigeria's fight against terrorism. The commitment was announced during President Bola Tinubu's ongoing state visit to Turkey, which has seen the signing of 9 bilateral agreements following full ceremonial honors in Ankara.
And to other stories now, the presidency has assured Nigerians that President Bola Tinubu is hale and hearty and that his state visit to Turkey is proceeding as scheduled. In a post on his verified X handle, the special advisor to the president on media and public communication, Mr. Sunday Dari, said that the president moved from the ceremonial reception straight into planned bilateral engagement with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and other top officials. Presidential aide Olusegun Dada, on his own verified X handle, also gave assurances concerning the president's well-being. He explains that the president missed his step very briefly and has continued his bilateral meetings with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The clarification follows a viral video showing the president momentarily stumbling and being assisted by individuals nearby.
As regards President Tinubu in Turkey, President Tinubu had a good day yesterday. He had a good day in the sun in Turkey, save for the fall, and which people that are mocking and saying all sorts, no. I mean, the best of us do fall, please. I mean, it's not anything to mock a man because he tripped and he fell. You know, it's not the best. It's not the best thing to do. I don't subscribe to people, and people that are doing that, they should stop it. But what were the conversations? They were very good conversations. Conversations around security, around health, around higher education, around immigration. And we did have about 9 agreements where we exchanged, bilateral MOUs and the likes. And we had these conversations and it was very in-depth, It shows that Turkey is pretty much willing to work with us. Recep Tayyip Erdogan did say they want to increase the trade between Nigeria and Turkey to about 5 billion. But my big ask will be, hope it's not now going to be a case where Turkey is going to dominate the balance of trade. Because it's likely going to happen. And it's not going to be a case that we're going to be subservient to them. Because even in military and all of that, Turkey, we all see the role of the Turkish drones, Bayraktars of this world, how they fought in Ukraine and how they use them valiantly. But I would not like a part where we're just going to be churning natural resource to Turkey, and in turn, Turkey will be taking out and whacking all the money as regards the balance of trade. That's another one. But secondly, while President Tinubu was talking, I thought my ears heard him say he was thanking President Recep Tayyip Erdogan for being democratic. Anyway, he will say that, but Recep Tayyip Erdogan is not democratic in any way, shape or form. This is an authoritarian strongman ruler of his country that has been able to skew the democratic process to himself. We remember how he went against his opponents, the Fethullah Gulen people of this world, after the conversation about coup in Turkey. In fact, the coup that he claimed he stopped and all of that. So Recep Tayyip Erdogan is in no shape or form democratic, but President Tinubu will say that because, it's just 2 world leaders. You have a lot of platitudes going on. This is a man that has suppressed the media and has largely suppressed the opposition in his own country.
Turkey. The main policy, foreign policy projection of the Tinubu administration would seem, in my view, to be economic diplomacy. And the Tinubu administration goes from country to country, looking for support, selling the country, at a time when leaders like Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is talking about the need for medium powers to come together, for people to look for, a new model of networking within the international global trade system. It will look like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also putting Nigeria on the right path. However, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, we go around signing all these agreements. Now we just signed 9 bilateral agreements with Turkey. Now, do we follow it up? Do we make sure that, the advantage, the interest of Nigeria is protected? Because it's not enough to sign a piece of paper and then, have a good photo opportunity. That's the first concern. In other words, it must be to the benefit of both countries. Quid pro quo. That's a basic principle in international relations. You do for me, I do for you, on the basis of reciprocity. However, in this particular instance, all the agreements that have been signed, they have formed a joint trade committee between Nigeria and Turkey. Turkey's President Recep Erdogan is saying that they are going to invest $5 billion in Nigeria. What is Nigeria investing in Turkey? Do we have the capacity? Are we talking of Nigerian companies, also going to Turkey to establish businesses? What we know is that Turkey is in Nigeria in terms of investment. At least Sunday Dari made that much very clear in his back page comment in this day newspaper earlier this week about why it is important for us to identify with Turkey. Now, they have a Turkish hospital here. They have, what again do they have here? Turkish University, Turkish Nile University. So Turkey already is benefiting a lot from the Nigerian economy. Yeah. What do we have in Turkey? Do we have the capacity? So this agreement should not be an opportunity to give Turkey, to invest more in Nigeria. There must be concrete gains from all this joint trade committee that we have formed. Turkey, by the way, is a gateway between Europe and Asia. It's a transcontinental country. And as I've said earlier this week, there is a lot that we can learn from Turkey in terms of productivity, even if Turkey is not part of the European Union, but at least is the gateway to both Europe and Asia. Now,